between the visiting Chatham and your Wareham Gatemen. This evening, the starting lineups are brought to you by Chatham Bars and first for the visiting anglers. Leading off the left fielder, number 11, Jake Kalamaki from Boston College. Batting second, the second baseman, number 38, Ashton McGee from North Carolina. Batting third, the designated hitter, number 51, Shea Langoliers from Baylor. Batting fourth, the third baseman, number 17, John Aiello from Wake Forest. Batting fifth, the catcher, number 30, Fabian Pena from Manhattan. Batting sixth, the first baseman, number 12, Nick Patton from Delaware. Batting seventh, the right fielder, number 27, Landon Kay from Furman. Batting eighth, the shortstop, number 9, Antonio Roland from Alabama Birmingham. And batting ninth, the center fielder, number 31, Mason Coppins from Northeastern. The starting pitcher for the Anglers this evening is number 28, Justin Blasco from UMass Amherst.
Swinging his drive going deep to left field. Way out. Headed for a base hit, drifting third, heading home in Swampfield. And RBI tackle for Robbie Bench. He's throwing back to first base to Guyver, and the tag is in time for Sable. Driven out to right center, and deep. This one is gone. Tristan Pompey is second of the night. Chalk in the infield, coming over. Bullets, he doesn't handle the baseball. The run scores. The Gatemen win their third consecutive home opener.
And now introducing the starting lineup for your Wareham Gatemen. Leading off the center fielder, number 51, Stephen Kwong from Oregon State. Batting second, the left fielder, number 28, Tanner Dodson from Cal. Batting third, the third baseman, number 8, Kyle Kasser from Oregon. Batting fourth, the first baseman, number 17, Willie McIver from Washington. Batting fifth, the right fielder, number 15, Tristan Pompey from Kentucky. Batting sixth, the designated hitter, number 14, John Topo from Utah. Batting seventh, the second baseman, number 10, Jared Duran from Long Beach State. Batting eighth, the catcher, number 16, Jake Anchia from Nova Southeastern. And batting ninth, the shortstop, number 3, Ben Mayer from Washington. The starting pitcher for the Gatemen this evening is number 52, Noah Zavalas from Harvard.
I'm doing that most of the time. So you do a lot of video stuff? Yeah, that's a big. It's become a lot more important for me now that every kid that's accessible to it, get the phones and send it to me. It's nice too because they get a lot of kids from doing stuff. You go both sides of the state, he's up there. So it just makes things easier. Yeah, absolutely. You guys use a specific software for it? You guys take, we have cameras now, or there? Don't do a specific program. We have with that.
Tonight is Throwback Thursday 70s style. You can shake your groove thing because we'll be playing that funky music all throughout tonight's game. Also be ready for Gatemen trivia, fifth inning t-shirt toss, and prizes. Tonight is also our Intern Appreciation Day. Wareham Gatemen would like to say thank you to all of our 2017 interns who come from all over the treat to learn about the sports industry. Thank you for dedicating yourself to helping our organization. Wish you best of luck in your future endeavors. There will be pizza and cake provided for you all during the game.
Yeah, get the pizza out to me right now, huh?
Yeah, college scout days. Yeah, used to drive 2 hours, 3 hours to us.
Yep.
You're a good road warrior.
Yeah, the area.
At this time, we ask you to please rise for the singing of the national anthem. Here to perform tonight's national anthem, please welcome Avery Shaw. Avery is 14 years old and has performed in multiple local theater productions, including the New Bedford Festival Theater's Sound of Music. She also recently won the overall award for the South Shore Conservatory's Spring Voice Competition.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed as the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Throwing out the ceremonial first pitch tonight is Ryan Adams. Ryan is a baseball operations intern. He is from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Welcome to
and is a
Spillane
rising
Field
senior
here
at
on
Georgia Tech,
WCTV, where
majoring
Wareham
in
Gatemen baseball as the
industrial
Wareham
engineering.
Gatemen take on the Chatham Anglers. I'm Matthew Weasel there alongside Jesse Ruiz. Just a few moments
When you're
we're
ready,
gonna send over
Ryan,
to the man of the hour,
let's
Sam
see a
Gordon, to
pitch.
call the game. But Jesse, a huge game today for the Gatemen.
Oh, of course, and then another huge game. Every game is huge. We're coming down to the final stretch here. All-Star game only
tonight,
2
to say
games
those
away,
two
and that
famous
just means the
words
summer's
while
almost
waiting,
over for these Wareham Gatemen,
we
trying to make the
have
playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking to get into a playoff spot. Right now in the 3rd spot in the West Division. An intense time for the Gatemen, looking for that game to really kind of another win to really start solidifying them in the big spot as we wait for Sam Corman, who is making his way up here. It was intern appreciation night. I am one of the interns, but I thought, you know what, the show must go on. A quick little pregame. And now Sam Corman entering the press box.
It seems like every time I try to take his job, he always seems to find his way back in right when I'm about to hit my peak.
Absolutely.
Anyways, guys, thank you for having me. It's been an
thank you
honor.
for having
Go
me.
Gatemen.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Thank you for having me too. And now for the man of the hour, on the call today for the Wareham Gatemen, it is Sam Corman. And now here he is, from Missouri, straight from Missouri College. University of Missouri, excuse me. Well, a college in Missouri, the University of Missouri. It is the play-by-play man himself, Sam Corman.
Well, it's Intern Appreciation Day. I don't know how appreciated I feel. I had to run back from the field after that all that happened to get back up here. And that kind of ruined it for me, honestly. I've never run that much in my life. But, got a baseball game in front of us. Chatham and Wareham, the only team in the Cape Cod Baseball League that the Gatemen have not beaten yet this season, are these Chatham Anglers. Noah Zavalis making his first start of the season for the Gatemen. He's taking some warm-up pitches right now. We'll run through the starting lineup for the Chatham Anglers. As the throw goes down to second, we're about ready for baseball. Jake Palomaki leading it off in left field. Ashton McGee's playing second base. He'll bat second. Shea Langolier is the big slugger of this Chatham lineup, hitting third. He's DHing. John Aiello is batting cleanup at third base. Fabian Pena's catching. He'll hit fifth. Nick Patton hitting sixth at first base. Landon Kay batting seventh and right. Antonio Rolas, the shortstop, he'll bat eighth. Mason Coppins in center field will round out this Chatham Anglers order. Zavalis, the right-hander, faces Palomaki. The first pitch in there for a strike. We're underway in Wareham. The Gatemen and the Anglers both coming into this game sitting just about 500 on the season. Another good pitch from Zavalis, inside corner for a strike. It's 0-2 quickly. On the leadoff guy out of Boston College, Jake Palomaki, the Georgia native. Swing is grounded to the second baseman. That's Jaron Duran over to first base to Willie McIver for the first out. Quick work by Noah Zavalis, 3 pitches, and he retires Palomaki. We'll run through the Gateman defense quickly here. And Tanner Dodson's in left field today. Leading this Gateman team in batting average, Stephen Kwan. Back in center field, Tristan Pompey out there in right. Infield, third base to first base, Kyle Kasser at third. Ben Baird at short, Jaron Duran at second, and Willie McIver at first base. Here's the pitch. First pitch swing is Ashton McGee. He grounds it to Ben Baird, and Baird over to first base for the second out. 2 quick groundouts from Noah Zavalis. Catching today for the Gatemen is Jake Anchia. He'll be participating in the Home Run Derby on Saturday. Excuse me, that's the Home Run Hitting Contest here in the Cape League, not the Home Run Derby. Shea Langoliers has been phenomenal this season. He has 6 home runs, 20 runs batted in for this Anglers squad. Zavalis buries a strike on the inside corner to Langoliers. What makes Zavalis so good so far this year is that combination of the 4-seam fastball and the 2-seam fastball. 2-seamer high 80s for Zavalis. Here comes the pitch. It's 0-1. In there for a strike on that 2-seamer. Good stuff from Zavalis. And it's 0-2. Langolier smacked a home run last time Chatham came to Wareham a few weeks ago into center field. It was a shot. Here's the pitch. Inside. Runs up high. First ball of the day for Noah Zavalis. And it's 1-2. Gatemen are on a 4-game winning streak. First time this season that they've been able to mount more than 2 wins in a row. Pitch is outside from Zavalis into Langoliers, 2-2. Langoliers hailing from Baylor University. Here's the pitch. Chopped foul, staying alive is the 3-hitter over to the Chatham dugout, down the third base line, 2-2. But the Gatemen really were able to help themselves with a home-and-home sweep of the Katuitt Kettleers last week. 2 dominant pitching performances in those games, first by Miller Hogan, then by Griffin Roberts. Langoliers pops it up into the shallow outfield for Jaron Duran. He backs up and makes the play to retire the side here in the top half of the first. No runs, no hits, no errors, no men left for the Chatham Anglers. To the bottom half we go, the Gatemen with an opportunity to take the lead here on WCTV. Welcome back. Bottom half of the first inning. Noah Savalas makes quick work of the Chatham lineup in the top half. Here's Justin Lasko to come out for the bottom half. The UMass Amherst local guy from Stratford, Connecticut, down near New Haven, Bridgeport area. Lasko, 3.69 ERA at UMass this season. We'll get to his three-pitch combo in just a second. Batting first for the Gatemen, Stephen Kwan takes a pitch on the outside corner for strike one. Kwan with 21 hits thus far in his Gateman career in just 14 games. He's been phenomenal. Here's the 0-1 pitch, popped out of play, foul toward the concession stand down the right field line. 0-2. Lasko coming in. Low 90s fastball, won't blow it by you, but does have that 90s stuff. His changeup is a mid-80s pitch, and that one fouled away down the first baseline. The first baseman, Nick Patton, watches it sail by him, and it's still 0-2. But what makes Lasko dangerous is that 70s curveball. Not mid-70s or high 70s like you'd expect from a breaking ball at this day and age for these guys, but it's low 70s. Kwan drives it out to right field. A diving catch made by Jake Palomaki. Wow, what a play. Palomaki laying out full extension in left field to rob Stephen Kwan of what would have been an extra base hit, as that ball was going to get by him on the dive. But Palomaki, a phenomenal effort, retires Stephen Kwan. But he makes good contact on Lasko nonetheless for the first out of this Gateman order. Tanner Dodson steps in. We'll run through the Gateman lineup after this delivery from Justin Lasko. He takes a strike. You just saw Stephen Kwan fly out in dramatic fashion to Jake Palomaki, who's in left field. He's from Oregon State. He's in center field today. Tanner Dodson's batting right now. The left fielder is hitting second. Here's the pitch. Outside, 1-1. Kyle Kasser is hitting third at third base out of Oregon. Willie McIver from Washington's at first base. He'll bat cleanup. Tristan Pompey, the Kentucky Wildcat, is in right field. He'll bat fifth. Dodson swings and bloops it into shallow left. But the shortstop, Antonio Relat, backs up and makes the catch for the second out. So quick work from Justin Lasko to get the first two Gateman batters. Keeping his pitch count nice and low was a theme yesterday for both Mason Fioli and Joe Molatier in the first 3 innings until Molatier kind of got whacked around in the later innings of his start. We'll finish the lineup. John Topa's batting 6th, DHing out of UConn. Jaron Duran, 7th at second base. He's from Long Beach State. Jake Anchia, the Nova Southeastern Shark, is catching and hitting 8th. Ben Baird rounding out the order. The shortstop from Washington is batting 9th. The Chatham Anglers defense, Jake Palomaki in left, Mason Coppins in center, and Landon Kay in right field. In there for a strike on the outside corner to Kyle Kasser. With 2 down here in the first, no score. Infield for the Chatham Anglers, John Aiello at first base, John Aiello at third base, Antonio Relat at short, Ashton McGee at second. Grounded right to the shortstop, Relat. On to first, routine play. Side retired here in the first. No runs, no hits, no errors. Not many pitches for Justin Lasco here in the first. Off to the second. You're listening and watching WCTV, Wareham Gatemen Baseball. John Aiello, the Wake Forest Demon Deacon, teammate of Wareham Gateman Griffin Roberts at the plate. Roberts not on the mound, however. It's Noah Zavalis for the Wareham Gatemen here in the top half of the second inning. Both teams went down 1-2-3 in the first. Zavalis in his last outing, over 4 innings pitched, scoreless against the Harwich Mariners, had a really good day. In there for a strike. The batter, John Aiello, hitting cleanup today. He's 8 for 34 since coming to this Chatham Anglers lineup, late addition after the Wake Forest season ended. Here's the pitch from Zavalis, fouled away by Aiello. Aiello, a .328 hitter for the Deacons this season. An impressive on-base plus slugging percentage of over 1,000 at .1060. Can really whack the ball. Here's the 0-2 upstairs. Chatham's been a very streaky team this season. They started off pretty well this year. They kind of tailed off. At one point, they were almost out of the playoff picture, and has worked their way back up to third place in the East Division. Aiello strikes out swinging, the first strikeout of the day for either pitcher and for Noah Zavalis, who has plenty of them this season. Zavalis, that was strikeout number 17 for him this year. He has just 3 walks as well. Here's the pitch. Low and inside to Fabian Pena. 1-0. Pena, the righty batter, takes a ball outside, 1-1. Fabian Pena from Manhattan College. He's been playing a lot in these Gatemen Anglers games. He's been playing a lot in general. 16 games this season. Grounded down the third base line. Stays fair. Kyle Kasser on the run and makes the play over to Willie McIver for the second out. Zavalos getting guys to swing early in the count and a ground out. That's the third ground out of the day for the Anglers. Only 5 batters into this game. 5 up, 5 down for the Harvard Crimson, Noah Zavalos. First pitch is low to Nick Patton. Flashback to the doubleheader at Veterans Field between the Gatemen and the Anglers. Games 3 and 4 of the season back in Chatham. And Nick Patton hit 1 home run in each of those games. Swings and misses at the high heat. 1-1. Anglers at 16-0. And Patton takes a strike on that one. 1-2. Chatham is one of just 3 teams in this league without a tie. Swing and a miss by Patton. Zavalos blows the fastball by him. Strikes out 2 batters in this inning, his second consecutive 1-2-3 inning. And the Anglers down again, 6 up, 6 down. On to the bottom half of the second inning. No score between the Gatemen and the Anglers here on WCTV.
Welcome back. I'm Claudia Chakamian for a quick main game break. So, bit of a difference we're seeing on the mound for both of these teams today, like we talked about in pregame and so far in this game. Noah Zavalos is headed to the mound for the Gatemen. This is his first start here in Wareham, but it's nothing he's not used to. He pitched in high school, was also a starting during high school. And he led her for 2 years, but he decided he was going to take the pitching route when he came to college. He made 9 starting appearances at Harvard. And now he is pitching well out of the bullpen so far for the Gatemen. So when I talked to pitching coach Jim Lawler before the game, he said he was very confident in those 4 pitches that Noah Zavalos has and that he can get a good quality start for the Gatemen. That's exactly what he's done so far. We should see a lot of good things for him the rest of this game. Back to you guys.
Awesome stuff on Noah Zavalos right there from our sideline reporter Claudia Chakamian. Thank you, Claudia. Zavalos does look outstanding. He has all season been one of the pleasant surprises for Jim Lawler's pitching staff so far. Coming from a low-profile Ivy League school at Harvard. Pitched here very briefly last year, late in the season, only made 1 appearance. And he's just fit right into this Gateman mold ever since time is called. It's 1-0. The batter is Willie McIver. And we've talked about the lineup changing a lot earlier in the season it was changing a lot. Now you have this set top 4 that it seems to be night in and night out for the Gatemen. And the funny thing is, one of them's a pitcher, natural pitcher, but he's such a good hitter that they can't take him out of the lineup. Swing and a miss by McIver. It's 1-2. That player is Tanner Dodson. He hits second. And this top 4 has turned into a theme. Quan, Dodson, Kasser, McIver. Pompey in the 5-hole also pretty consistent down there. Here's the pitch. Grounded right to the shortstop, Berlot. He's been busy. Over to first, no problemo for the shortstop, Berlot. 1 out in the bottom of the second. First 10 batters of this game retired, 6 by Zavalas, first 4 for Justin Lasko. Tristan Pompey at the plate. He's been red hot. Takes a ball outside. Yesterday's win versus Brewster, Pompey 2 for 4 with a triple, an RBI. Also reached on an error and stole a base. A really productive day for Pompey, who have been struggling earlier on in this tenure with the Gatemen. He was hitting 200 going into the game against Hyannis, went 3 for 5 there, and then went 2 for 4 against Brewster yesterday. So now he's 5 for his last 9. Pompey takes the ball outside, 2-1. Lasko in the windup. Outside, and that will walk Tristan Pompey on the 3-1 pitch. So another productive at-bat for him, not chasing as many pitches out of the zone as he was earlier in this season. And because of that, he's on to first base. First base runner of the game belongs to the Wareham Gatemen. And John Topa at the plate, hitting over 300 this season. Topa, the Yukon Husky. Here's the first pitch, swings and misses at a fastball up and inside. Down in the count, 0-1. Pompey, you see him there leading off first base. Holding him on tightly, Nick Patton. Might be seeing a few pickoff moves over his way. He can be a threat to steal. Here's the 0-1 coming in from Lasko. To Topa, chops it the other way, foul down the first base line. Lots of games going on around the Cape League today. Lots of important matchups, especially for the Wareham Gatemen in the West Division. Katuitt and Bourne playing each other right now. They're in the 3rd inning. And that game has major standing implications. Katuitt is up 2-0 over the Braves. The other 2 teams in the West, the Falmouth Commodores and the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, both playing East Division opponents today. Falmouth early on in their game against the Harwich Mariners, no score. It's 0-2, flown out right to the center fielder, Mason Coppins. He makes the catch, and retreating back to first, Tristan Pompey. 2 outs here in the second. John Topa was hitting about 380 at one point this year. He's down to 300 now. After that, he's 29 for 96. Jaron Duran, the batter. He almost hit his first home run of the season yesterday in Brewster. Came up a little bit short. Ball bounced once and ended up being a ground rule double for Duran. He had a really, really good day. Reached base 4 times yesterday. 2 walks, 2 hits, 2 for 3 overall for Jaron Duran. 2 outs in the second. The Long Beach State product at the plate. Takes a strike on the outside corner on a fastball from Lasko, 0-1. Haven't really seen the breaking ball come out of Lasko's arm that much yet. That low-flying 70s breaking ball that he is known to be his put-away pitch. The lefty Jaron Duran. That pitch comes upstairs, 1-1. Duran hitting 327 versus righty pitchers, takes a ball inside. You know, for a guy who's only hitting 270 this season, to have that batting average against righties just shows the ability of Jaron Duran. I mean, the majority of pitchers are righty pitchers. I believe it's Brewster, who only has 2 lefties in their entire roster. That pitch is outside. And now Jaron Duran one ball away from working the second walk of this inning against Justin Lasko. Lasko has made 2 starts. Lined into left for a base hit by Duran. Pompey has to stop at second, and they almost catch him on the turn from second to third. They go back to second, and he tripped and fell, but the throw from the left fielder, Palamaki, was a little bit wild. And if it wasn't, Pompey was probably gunned to end the inning. But a single for Duran, and there's a runner in scoring position now for the Gatemen with 2 outs in the second. Here's your Wareham Gatemen home run hitting competition representative at the plate, Jake Anchia, the righty. And as a righty, kind of has an advantage here with the home run hitting competition. It's about 10 feet shorter down the left field line than it is down the right field line, although we have seen Anchia hit some opposite fielders this season. 2 outs in the second. Here's the pitch. First pitch swinging right to the third baseman. They go to second for the force. They barely get Jaron Duran. Bold move by John Aiello over there at third, but he gets the out anyway to retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 men left on base for the Wareham Gatemen. On to the third. No score between the Anglers and the Gatemen here on WCTV. Welcome back. Top half of the third inning, no score. Noah Zavalis back out to the mound. He's retired the first 6 in this Chatham order. Landon Kay is the 7-hitter, and he takes a strike on the outside corner. Kay is a recent addition to this Chatham lineup. He's from Furman College in South Carolina. Takes a ball outside, 1-1. Furman, of course, is home to the Paladins, which is their mascot. I don't really know what that is. I think it's something of nobility, like a queen or a king. Kay deep out to right field, right to Tristan Pompey. No problem for him. 1 away in the third. So Zavalis not only getting quick outs, 7 up, 7 down, but getting guys to swing early in the count, and because of that, his pitch count very low. .22 pitches. That was number 23 on the outside corner for a strike. That was also strike number 18 for Zavalis. 24 pitches in. Lined up the middle for the first hit of the day for the Chatham Anglers. Right to Stephen Kwan. He fields it and gets it in, but a single for Antonio Berlot, the shortstop, and Chatham in business in the third inning. Gatemen also had a one-out base runner back in the second. That was Tristan Pompey. But they were unable to make anything of it. Berlot now waiting on first with 9-hitter Mason Coppins at the plate. Coppins lines it out to right field for a base hit. Pompey fields it and gets it in quickly to prevent the runner at second, Berlot, from getting to third. But now 2 quick hits off Zavalis, both line drives into the outfield. And now 2 on, 1 out for the Anglers. And it's the top of the order coming up. Gatemen 0-3 against this Anglers team this season. They've beaten every other team they've played at least once this year. And this is the final meeting of the season between these two clubs. Unless, of course, they meet in the CCBL Championship. Bunt laid down by the leadoff guy, Palamaki. Over to first in time from Anchia. Good play by Anchia to get it over in time. Quickly now, one of the Chatham manager, John Schiffner, out of the dugout to have his word with the umpire. I guess he thought he was safe. Now second and third, 2 runners in scoring position on the sack bunt from Palamaki. That'll bring up Ashton McGee. The umpire discussion, nothing changes. McGee out of UNC, not having the season that he would like so far with the Anglers. He's just 6 for 52 coming into today. First pitch, outside corner from Zavalis for a strike, much needed for him. McGee, 327 hitter this year at UNC. For some reason, it just has not panned out for him in Chatham on the hitting side of the game yet this year. It's 1-1 from Zavalis with a .60 ERA so far this year. Zavalis, unbelievable. 1-1 inside. Ball runs in quite a bit. A lot of movement on that pitch from Zavalis, mid-80s. The runner on second, Mason Coppins. The runner on third, Antonio Berlot. 2 outs here in the third. No score between the Anglers and the Gatemen. Here's the pitch. Grounded right back to Zavalis. He's going to walk it over to William McIver and make the play to retire the side. So Zavalis works himself into a 1-out jam, but is able to work right back out of it. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 men left for the Anglers. To the bottom of the third, the Gatemen still trying to break the ice here at Spillane Field on WCTV. Welcome back. Ben Baird steps into the batter's box. The Washington Husky facing Justin Lasko, who's yet to give up a run. 1 hit through 2 innings for the Wareham Gatemen. Off this guy in blue, Chatham wearing their classic road blue uniforms that you see in the movie Summer Catch. Of course, the Anglers, then the A's, were starred in that movie. I'm pretty sure John Schiffner, their head coach, was also a member of that movie. And Ben Baird takes a ball outside. It's 2-0 on him, the 9-hitter. Baird is 0 for his last 7, pops it out of play, foul. He's been hitting better recently, since the beginning of the season at least. He was really struggling to get going, but he's worked pretty well with the hitting coaches and the head coach, Don Snedden. Grounded to the shortstop, Relat. He takes it, fires it to first in time. Baird out for the first out of this 3rd inning. Stephen Kwan, the leadoff guy, back at the plate. Takes a strike on the outside corner. This is game number. Kwan, right to the first baseman, Nick Patton, who steps on the bag for the 2nd out. Kwan's 0 for 2. I was just about to mention that he has multi-hit games in 8 of his first 14 games with the Wareham Gatemen. He's been very consistent, but that's an afterthought. He's retired. 2 down in the 3rd. Tanner Dodson, the batter. Dodson takes a ball low. Been the story of the year at the plate for the Wareham Gatemen. One of the league leaders in batting average at .380 this year. But he came in here to primarily be a pitcher with that 95-mile-an-hour fastball out of California. Line back up the middle. Moving over Antonio Relat once again over to first to beat Tanner Dodson to retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors for the Wareham Gatemen. They go 1-2-3. The Anglers coming to bat in the 4th. No score here on WCTV. Welcome back. It's the 4th inning here in Wareham. The Gatemen taking on the Anglers. We have a special guest for y'all. And I say y'all because it's a University of Tennessee man himself, Theo Hooper, one of our scouting interns. How you doing, Theo?
I'm doing good. Glad to be here.
Always great to add this thick Southern accent to the broadcast. And Theo knows a lot about the scouting aspects of baseball, which guys look the best to these MLB scouts, which are here night in and night out. Theo, so a guy like Tanner Dodson, who so far, the batter right now, by the way, is Shea Langoliers. He is 0 for 1. Tanner Dodson, it seems like when scouts see him, it's the pitching side of things, but it's been the bat for him that's been so good this year. What goes through the scouts' minds when they see Tanner Dodson hitting 380 in the Cape Cod League?
Well, Dodson is a very special player. One scout put it to me like this. When he looks at Dodson, he sees either a fourth starter or a fourth outfielder. Now, obviously, a fourth starter would be a lot more valuable to a team, and that may be shooting his floor a little high. But he's definitely got plus fastball velocity off the mound. He's really special because he can go both ways, and he could potentially reach to the next level in both ways. But he is a special hitter. He's got a good presence at the plate. He's a good runner. Looks great in the field, but it's really just going to be interesting to see how he falls when he gets drafted.
Cool stuff, definitely. Tanner Dodson's been unbelievable so far this season, hitting 380. That was a Shea Langoliers single through the left side that has one on, nobody out for the Anglers here in the 4th inning. Theo Hooper is our special guest, one of the scouting interns here with the Wareham Gatemen out of the University of Tennessee. So what do you do at Tennessee? Do you do similar stuff for the Volunteers baseball program?
Actually, no, I don't actually work with the program yet. I'm in the process of trying. They have scholarship spots for managers, and unfortunately, last year, my first year at the school, they didn't have any of those spots open, but just staying hopeful for the future.
And when you look at this Gateman pitching staff, out of the starters, you have, Griffin Roberts, Noah Zavalis recently being added to this starting rotation, Joey Matulovic, Justin Montgomery. I mean, who do you think has the most MLB draft potential out of those starting pitchers?
If I had to pick right now, I would say Griffin Roberts. He's got the best pitch on the team, and that would be his slider. His slider gets flinches when he throws it inside the righties. It gets whiffs when he throws it off the plate.
Called strike 3. Zavalis gets his 3rd strikeout of the game.
But as I was saying, Roberts probably has the most draft value at this point, I would say. He's a really special kid.
So the Cape League, best talent of any collegiate league in the country? Would you say that's fair to say?
Absolutely, yeah. This is the top league. This is why I traveled 1,000 miles to work for a team. I'm very fortunate to have this opportunity, but the Cape Cod League is the best college wood bat baseball that you'll find in this country.
And around the league, I'm sure you're pretty familiar with the other players on other teams as well.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think the biggest slugger in this entire league is? That one popped into shallow center. On the run is Ben Baird, cannot get there. Barehands it, and advancing to second is Shea Langoliers. It's a single for Fabian Pena. And now the Chatham Anglers have 2 on, 1 out against Noah Zavalis. Who do you think the best slugger in this league is?
I would have to go with Alec Baum, Wichita State. He plays for the Falmouth Commodores. He has great length through the zone with his bat. He's got pop. He's got contact. He's got a great makeup as a hitter, and he might be one of the top pure hitters in his class next year. I'm almost certain that he's available next year in next year's draft, so he might be one of the top pure college hitters in that class.
Alec Baum, of course, teammates with another really good slugger here, Grayson Genista of the Catuit Kettleers.
Mm-hmm.
Might not be as raw of a power hitter, but really good hitter. He's in the All-Star game. Speaking of the All-Star game, it's coming up on Saturday. The batter, by the way, is Nick Patton, the first baseman. This guy's been able to slug some home runs against the Gatemen so far this season, most notably at Veterans Field back earlier this year. But the All-Star game coming up, this one is driven out to deep left field, but on the run, Dodson, he watches it sail foul. But that was a bomb from Patton just to the wrong side of the foul pole. All-Star game coming up. The scouts are all going to be in attendance, but when you think of an All-Star game, you really think of the guys having fun going out there, kind of fooling around a little bit because the game doesn't actually mean anything. Now, the scouts are all in attendance, however. How does that kind of clash with each other? You have, kind of the fun of an all-star game, but you also have the seriousness of the fact that you're being watched by these MLB scouts?
Well, I think the majority of the fun is going to come in things like the home run derby. And the game will be a fun game to watch, but the feel for a league like this is it's basically a prospect showcase is what the All-Star game is. And those players are going to be playing hard, and they're going to be playing to impress. So it'll definitely be a fun game to watch for the fans in attendance, but it should be very competitive.
So how do you approach that for a guy like, let's say John Topa, who, wasn't probably expected? This one's lined to the second baseman, Jaron Duran, on to first in time to retire the side. We'll have more from Theo in the bottom half of the fourth. The Gatemen shut down the Anglers. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 men left for Chatham. The Gatemen coming to bat, trying to take the lead in the bottom half of the fourth here on WCTV. Welcome back. Bottom half of the fourth inning. No score between Chatham and Wareham. Not Chatham and Wareham, because you could very easily get those two confused. Gatemen trying to break this stalemate. We're here with Theo Hooper, a scouting intern, and also our producer, Matt Weaselthayer, wants to ask him a question.
So, Theo, I've seen you a lot on the field before the games and, getting the field ready and everything. You also talking to the players a lot before the games. So let's get away from the scouting a little bit. Let's have some fun. Who is the funniest or most fun guy to be around on this team and talk to and just hang around with?
That is a very tough question. I'm glad you asked that one. I would say it has to be a toss-up between Tanner Dodson and Fitz Stadler, because Tanner Dodson, he's one of the guys that he's talked to me a lot, which he's been able to joke with me really from the get-go. He's just a real personable guy, so that really stuck out to me early in the season. But Fitz Stadler is he's like a 6'7" Will Ferrell. He's a great guy to have. I would love to be his teammate. He's funny, he's goofy. Both of those guys are really just all-around good guys.
Now, you just saw Kyle Castor take a walk when it was a strike on the outside corner. It's a full count on him. He lines this one opposite field. On the run is Palamaki. He makes the play for the first out of the inning.
The first baseman, the 17, Willie Piper from Washington.
All right, so I've now been brought in because I have a bunch of questions coming out here, and especially you're seeing a lot of these guys now. These are, of course, college kids. They're not in the pros yet. what is the main thing you are looking for when you see these guys, and coming from a scouting perspective, when you see these guys, what's the main thing you're looking for in raw potential? Is it coming out of here with the numbers? Obviously, of someone like William McIver's up right now, and he's been phenomenal numbers-wise. Or is it something like you see the raw power from someone like Jake Antia, who hasn't maybe made the best contact at all this year, but he leads the team in home runs? What's mainly what you're looking for?
I'm really glad you asked that question, and I'm going to mention one guy that you didn't, Tristan Pompey, which we all know he had that great first game, 2 home runs. That probably set the bar a little high for him, and I think that might have attributed to some of his struggles as he started getting accustomed to playing as a Gateman. But when I look at guys, I'd like to see a real loose athlete, a guy that can play his position, and a guy that has a mental presence on the field. I like it's not as much mechanics as it is you just like to see raw ability.
Palamonki makes the play on William McIver, same guy. 2 outs for the Gatemen in the bottom half of the 4th. We're here with Theo Hooper, not to be confused with Justin Hooper, a pitcher for Katuitt. Theo Hooper out of the University of Tennessee, straight out of Knoxville. The Appalachian. I knew you were big on that.
There's been a big learning curve for the locals here on my pronunciation of words, but it's been a good time. But to finish my thought about Tristan, he is batting right now. He is a raw athlete. When you look at him, he's got the frame, he's got the size, the strength. He can swing it from both sides. He looks great in the field, which it's been a little delayed getting him in the field because of some shoulder issues. But, I mean, when you look at him, he passes the eye test, and that's really the biggest thing on this level for me.
The eye test, that's pretty interesting you say that. What about the eye test for catcher in catching perspective? Because I know the knock on William McIver as a catcher is maybe the way he frames the ball. The scouts don't like that. What do they look for in catchers as Pompey strikes out to end the inning? We'll keep him on here in between innings anyway. Why not? What do you look for a catcher framing the ball?
Well, catching has become such a position of interest to teams in framing and stuff like that. It's really become the next revolution in the industry. But for an amateur catcher, you would love to see flexibility moving side to side as he's setting up, the good bounce in his legs when he's going to make a throw, quick hands, and really just kind of good technique, which McIver's a decent catcher. I think we have a group of decent catchers on the Gatemen team, but yeah, that's basically it. You just want to see good flexibility and all-around athleticism.
And what's the difference in approach for guys who come out here, players who come out here, between a guy like Kyle Casper, who's going to be a senior next year, and a guy like Blake Sable, who's going to be a sophomore next year? How big of a difference does that make?
I would say it makes a significant difference, and it may differ from person to person. But if I were a sophomore playing in the Cape Cod League, I couldn't imagine doing anything cooler for my first summer out of college. But I'd really just kind of take a more developmental standpoint and try to absorb as much as I can. We've got Coach Lawler and Coach Sneddon and all this great coaching staff. I'd really just try to take as much as I could out of them. But then for somebody like Kasser, I would do that all the while trying to really impress and play well up here and hopefully catch the eye of a few clubs.
Also a question about the scouting intern program. There are a lot of them this year for the Gatemen, certainly.
15 of us,
15. Yep. Does the work kind of get divided between you, or does some of you kind of take on more of the role than the others?
I'm not going to call out anybody, but
well, no one in particular, no one specifically, obviously. But do you feel that it's kind of like a you get what you put in kind of?
Absolutely. I think what you put into this is what you're going to get out of it, and I feel good about this summer. I've had a great time up here. I've tried to be as impactful as I could, but it's really just a great opportunity for all of us to get up here and learn about the game of baseball.
And you get, grounds crew coaching from none other than Daryl Maxwell, one of the best groundskeepers in the world.
Now, personal note, I've had some experience on a grounds crew. I worked for a AA team for a couple of years, and I've taught Maxwell a few things, and Maxwell's taught me a few things, but that's been a fun aspect of the internship.
Which AA team?
Tennessee Smokies, affiliate for the Chicago Cubs.
Cool stuff.
Now, we're talking groundskeeping right now, and obviously when you're doing the groundskeeping for the AA team, it's a little bit different than when you're working with the gravel that we have here in the infield. What is really for taking care of it and really just kind of trying to mess around with it? What's the big difference between that and really dealing with just the regular dirt that we see on basically every field?
Okay, that's a good question. It looks aesthetically kind of weird compared to other baseball fields, but the layer of stone dust is what I've been corrected numerous times as to what that is. It's essentially the same thing as what you would put on a regular baseball field. As brick dust is what that would be. It's got a slightly harder texture and it gets a lot dustier, and those are two big factors. That's why we have to wet it down really well before games. But its main use is that it's really hard to puddle up and rain out. So that's why the Gatemen do not have a full field tarp, is because their field is really hard to become unplayable.
The line drive caught by William McIver, 2 away here in the 5th. Top of the order coming back up for the Chatham Anglers. No score in the 5th inning between Chatham and Wareham. It's Jake Palomaki, a lefty, coming to face Zavalis. We're here with Theo Hooper, scouting intern with the Wareham Gatemen, dedicating some time. So back on the the who's fun to talk to on the team. It seems to me like some guys are having a lot more fun than the others. I mean, Grant Wolfram, for example, just seems to always be the center of attention.
Wolfie's a guy I hadn't had much. I hadn't associated with him much, but when I am around him, his presence and his personality definitely sticks out. And today, I saw him and some of his teammates playing a game, and he looked to be in the center of attention, like you said. And a lot of the guys really do like Wolfie.
And how do you think the mentality of a guy coming from a D2 college like Grant Wolfram, like Jake Anchia, how do you think the mentality changes for them coming in and being scouted by these big-time scouts with all these D1 guys around them?
Again, that probably differs from guy to guy, but if I was in that situation, I would definitely not take it for granted. I mean, everybody here wants to play in the pros, but it doesn't always work out like that. And not to say Wolfie or guys from D2 can't, but being around guys from D1 schools and having all these scouts, I mean, it's really just an overwhelming experience is, how I would take it, which a lot of these guys have played on higher levels than I have, but overall, it's really an awe-inspiring experience to play in a league like the Cape Cod League with all these great talents.
1-2 is the count on the leadoff hitter Palomaki. Grounds it to the third baseman. That's Kyle Kasser over to first in time, just barely in time to beat the speedy Palomaki to retire the side in the top half of the 5th. A big thank you to Theo Hooper for joining our broadcast today out here on WCTV. Halfway home, the Gatemen trying to take the lead in the bottom half of the 5th on WCTV. Welcome back. It's the bottom half of the 5th inning. No score. A pitcher's duel developing here in Wareham, although we thought that was the case last time these two teams played at Spillane Field, and then Chatham exploded for 6 late runs to win that game 8-2, the final score. Rodney Hutchison, the new pitcher for the Anglers. Justin Lasko goes 4 innings, gives up no earned runs, just 1 hit, strikes out 1 batter, walks 1 batter, hits no batters. Pretty productive day for Justin Lasko. Doesn't blow away this Gatemen lineup, but does his job for the Chatham Anglers. An overhead release from Hutchison. Bunt laid down. It goes right back to Hutchison. Not well executed by John Topa, and he's retired for the first out. Shrugs back to the dugout. Topa's 0 for 2. Jaron Duran is 1 for 1. Single back in the second. That was the only hit surrendered by this Chatham defense today. And the Gatemen, after putting up 20 runs in their past 2 games, the offense has kind of settled down against some good pitchers here for Chatham. They scored 10 against the Hyannis Harbor Hawks 2 days ago. That was a 17-hit performance for the Gatemen. And yesterday added 11 more hits to score 10 again on the Brewster Whitecaps. But they didn't start their scoring until the 4th inning yesterday. They're trying to start the scoring in the 5th here today with 1 out, 1-1 count on Duran. Rodney Hutchison Jr. out of North Carolina, the pitcher, 1-1. Outside, 2-1. Hutchison came in against the Gatemen last time these two teams met. Through the last 3 innings of the game, gave up just 1 hit and hit a batter, but faced almost the minimum amount of batters you can face in those 3 innings. Was really good. Slow roller to the shortstop Relat on the run, makes the play to get the speedy Jaron Duran. Wow, Antonio Relat has been very busy at shortstop today. That is his 6th putout here in the 5th. Jake Anchia, hidden to a fielder's choice to end the 2nd inning, is now at the plate for his 2nd at-bat here in the 5th inning. Anchia is hitting .239 this year out of Nova Southeastern. Pitch coming in inside from Hutchison, 1-0 on Anchia. Gateman struck first in the 4th yesterday. Struck early against Hyannis in the 3rd in that game. And struck early against Catuit as well in the 3rd inning. So it's a theme for the Gatemen. When they score early, think good things happen. When they don't, usually not a good sign for Wareham. Here's the 1-1. Popped foul and out of play by Jake Anchia over the bleachers on the first base side. Counts 1-2. Also, an indicator, you talked about defense. Gateman defense has been improving recently. And in almost every single one of the last, 10 games, the team with less errors has won. This one's popped up to shallow left. On the run, Relat for his 7th putout of the game to retire the side. Another 1-2-3 inning for the Gatemen. The last 10 have been retired in this Wareham lineup. To the 6th inning we go. No score here between the Anglers and the Gatemen. We'll get a score update from Matt Weasel there before the top half of the 6th begins.
Sam, a ton of action going on around the Cape. A couple scoreless game. First off, let's start with that right now. It's Hyannis and YD. YD currently up in the top of the 7th, but it's scoreless right now. We've seen Hyannis give up a few runs in the past couple days, giving up almost double digits in their past couple games, including to the Wareham Gatemen where they gave up 10 runs. Over in Bourne, the Bourne Braves had their 2nd start from the coveted LSU freshman, now going to be sophomore, Zach Hess. A lot of hype around it. We were talking to Theo Hooper, scouting intern. Well, scouts that are professional right now, a ton of them headed over to Bourne. Well, Zach Hess struggled in 3 2/3 innings, gave up 3 runs. The game currently 3-0 to it, and Hess 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, and only 2 strikeouts. Struggling for Zach Hess and Katua taking advantage. And if the Gatemen were to win and Bourne were to lose, the Gatemen would hop into second place in the West Division. Over then in Brewster. Brewster headed into the top of the 5th with a 6-1 lead. Well, that evaporated very quickly. Orleans 7 runs in the top of the 5th, 5 of those unearned. Not a good sight for the Brewster Whitecaps, who have really been struggling as of late. And another team that struggled all season long is Harwich. They're hosting the Falmouth Commodores. The Commodores currently tied with the Gatemen, below them right now in the West Division standings due to run differential. And in the top of the 4th, they were able to get on the board thanks to George Yancha coming in, scoring on an error from Josh Burrow, who had got a single. A lot of action around the Cape and a lot of implications in every single game going on. Sam, how about this one right now?
No score. How about that? Here in the 6th inning, pretty much the polar opposite of that game going on between Brewster and Orleans. You mentioned the bad defense from the Whitecaps. Yikes. I mean, 3 errors yesterday for Brewster, all by the second baseman. And 4 tonight against the Orleans Firebirds. Those 3 errors all by the second baseman, who was Christian Malfetta yesterday. And Brewster in team defense has the worst fielding percentage in the league at .961. Also the second most errors behind the Falmouth Commodores with 44. In contrast, Wareham with just 31. 0-1, inside corner, good two-seamer there. The batter, Ashton McGee. Another UNC Tar Heel. He's seen his pitcher, Rodney Hutchinson, take the mound and throw a 1-2-3 inning. Now McGee at the plate, looking for hit number 7 on the season. Here's the 0-2 from Zavalis in the dirt, 1-2. Well, low-key, Noah Zavalis is still out here in the 6th inning. I mean, you haven't seen guys in this Wareham uniform extend their starts this deep into the game that often, but more recently, it's been happening for Zavalis and for Griffin Roberts. Grounded foul off the foot of McGee. Count remains 1-2.
And your quick update with that, Jordan Britton in the bullpen right now for the Gatemen.
How about that? Jordan Britton, last time he played was against the Bourne Braves. A while back. Has not pitched in a while. Here's the 1-2 going to come in from Zavalis. Just low, 2-2. Had his spot correctly, but just missed the outside part of the plate. 2-2. Brewster's really been struggling as well. But with Harwich's record in the West, or in the East Division, excuse me, it looks like they're pretty much locked into that playoff spot. Harwich has really struggled this season, just 10 wins in their first 32 games. And it doesn't look like they'll be heading to the postseason. Full count coming into McGee. Swing and a miss. Zavalis gets strikeout number 6 on the day. He's been lights out. Wow. I mean, his ERA was .60 coming into today. And so far, add 5 1/3 more scoreless innings to that total. It's been impressive. Now 20 1/3 innings pitched on the season for Zavalis. And he's given up just 1 earned run. Slugger at the plate, it's Shea Langoliers, the DH. Took one out 420 feet to dead center last time the Anglers were in town. And the pitch is in there for a strike, 0-1 from Zavalis on him. And with Jordan Britton in the bullpen, this could be the last time we see Zavalis in this game. Pitch is in there for a strike, 0-2, but we have seen Jim Lawler extending his pitchers into the 7th at some points this year, although that was Miller Hogan's last start of the year where he went into the 7th. Here's the pitch outside from Zavalis, but Zavalis is also a Harvard guy. You know, not out of an SEC or a Pac-12 school. He might have a more lenient innings limit or pitch count limit per game on him, coming from an Ivy League school. The Acton, Massachusetts native on the North Shore. 1-2 in the dirt. Good eye from Langoliers. That pitch sinking down low. 2-2. That two-seamer, also known as the sinker. Langoliers with 20 runs batted in this year for the Anglers. Here's the pitch. Lined up the middle for a base hit. Fielding it in deep center is Stephen Kwan and fires it back in quickly to prevent Langoliers from an extra base hit. He has a single with 1 out in the 6th. That's just the 5th hit of the game for the Chatham Anglers, but the Gatemen have less. Now Langoliers is 2 for 3.
Quick note on Langoliers, he was sadly suffered the wrong end of a SportsCenter top 10 play the other day when the Chatham Anglers hosted the Bourne Braves, as Andy Atwood was able to rob a ball over the fence. You could say over the fence because he literally jumped over it. And phenomenal play. Shane Langoliers, though, on the wrong side of that.
The home crowd in Chatham probably pretty disappointed at that one, although when you see a play like that, you're pretty electrified no matter what team you're rooting for. Andy Atwood makes the catch, then flips over the fence in Chatham at Veterans Field, in there for a strike. It's 0-1. The batter, John Aiello, is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts today, trying to avoid the hat trick. He's hitting .235 with 3 runs batted in. Here's the pitch to Aiello, swings and misses, having trouble making contact on Zavalis' sinker, and it's 0-2. That sinker from Zavalis has been lights out today. His slider's been working as well, his changeup, his fastball. It's all been going well for Noah Zavalis, but he does have a runner on first with 1 out in the 6th. But every time he's given up a hit, he's been striking out the batter after almost every time. That pitch just outside, 1-2. Here's the pitch, the 1-2. Outside corner, called strike 3. Zavalis delivers the hat trick to John Aiello, who strikes out 3 times against the Gatemen starter. And there's 2 outs here in the 6th. Fabian Pena from Manhattan is 1 for 2. And he has Shea Langoliers waiting on first in a scoreless game. Pickoff attempt over to Langoliers, and McIver puts the tag on, but not nearly in time. Zavalis now on the stretch. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball. Upstairs. 1-0. He's been getting ahead in the count today, too. Zavalis delivering pitch number 72 on the day. 51 of them strikes. Swing and a miss. Outside. Snap throw to first. And McIver was barely ready for it. Running over, making the grab. No chance to get Langoliers. But now the count is 0-2 on Pena. Excuse me, it's 1-1. Pena with a .356 on base percentage. Swings and misses. Now it's 1-2. Zavalis blowing that pitch by the hitters every single time. They're really having trouble against the smarts of the Harvard Crimson pitcher in Zavalis, who's worked here into the 6th inning with 2 outs. The 1-2. Just staying alive, getting a piece is Fabian Pena. Fabian Pena, a 2017 first-team All-Mid-Atlantic MAAC conference. Forget what that stands for, but the MAAC. I believe it's the Mid-American Athletic Conference. 1-2 going to come in. Called strike 3 on the low corner. Zavalis strikes out the side in the 6th. See you later, Noah. What a performance for him. He leaves the game in a scoreless draw. The Gatemen coming to bat in the bottom half of the 6th, trying to get some run support for this electric pitching staff here on WCTV. Welcome back. You mentioned Hyannis' playoff hopes kind of running out, and now YD takes a 3-0 lead on them in the top half of the 7th. Hyannis really in danger of dropping well out of this playoff picture in a tight West Division. First pitch inside to Ben Baird. Rodney Hutchison Jr. back out on the mound from UNC. The Tar Heels, really good team this season in the ACC. Baird, high chopper, tough play for the first baseman, and he can't make the play. Nick Patton with a weird look on that ball. That ball skied in the air on a ground ball, and Baird beats it out. We'll see what the scoring is on that in a second. It scored a base hit for Ben Baird. He gets hit number 8 for the season. He's been struggling recently. And it comes at a big time. They needed the leadoff guy aboard, the Gatemen did, and they have not scored yet today, and they have not had the leadoff guy on yet. So a big at-bat there for Ben Baird. It doesn't matter how you get on, but he does get on. And now he has the top of the order trying to whack him around to give the Gatemen the lead in this game. No score in the bottom half of the 6th inning. An old-fashioned pitcher's duel. Stephen Kwan shows bunt, pulls it back, takes a ball outside. North Carolina hosted one of the NCAA regionals this year. Rodney Hutchison Jr., of course, a part of that program. Upset by the Davidson Wildcats in that regional. Davidson then advanced to the Super Regional but lost to Texas A&M. Inside corner for a strike to Stephen Kwan. So Davidson advanced. No Davidson Wildcats here on the Cape League. However, there is one Texas A&M Aggie, and he did have a big run scored for the Falmouth Commodores recently. It's George Yansha, the third baseman, a really good prospect for A&M. Ben Baird gets back safely as you get a look at the pickoff attempt to Nick Patton. Kwan is 0 for 2. He's due for a hit given the way he's been hitting recently. Swings and misses at the outside pitch. Ben Baird is gunned at second, trying to steal second. He had no shot. He was out by a mile trying to avoid the tag, but he's caught stealing in a bold move by Baird. But now the bases are empty once again here in the 6th. 1-2 on Kwan. Here's a pitch to Kwan, grounded right back to the glove of Hutchison. Over to first to retire Kwan, 2 down in the 6th. Well, the Gatemen could really use one of those Tanner Dodson jacks that he had yesterday, his first of the season against the Brewster Whitecaps, out to right center field at Stony Brook Field. And Dodson not known to be a complete power hitter. He's not really known to be a hitter. We mentioned that earlier in the broadcast. He's a pitcher-first guy. Takes a pitch outside. However, he is hitting .380 with 14 runs batted in this season. Remarkable stuff from Dodson. Leader in average around the entire Cape League. Tanner Dodson takes a strike, 1-1. Just ahead of Alec Boehm of the Falmouth Commodores. Then both 3 and 4 are Orleans Firebirds, Jimmy Herron and Ethan Paul, both hitting above .347. Inside, 2-1. Also, Jacques Groshans up there in batting average at .325 for the Firebirds. They're having a phenomenal season. Here's the 2-1. Opposite field, foul ball over on top of Wareham Middle School. 2-2. Dodson, the Cal Berkeley product. Former draft pick of the New York Mets, and that ball bounces, then hits Dodson. So he's down to first base. That makes that Ben Baird caught stealing a lot bigger than it could. I mean, if Ben Baird's still on base, he's now on second with 1 out. Although I guess Kwan's ground ball could have been a double play. Either way, runner on first, 2 outs. In the 6th inning, Kyle Kasser. Kasser with 8 runs batted in this year. He's also representing the Gatemen in this All-Star game, along with Dodson, McIver, John Topa, Justin Montgomery, Griffin Roberts. The pitch, fouled away. Into the bleachers, a laser from Kasser, and the fans down that third base line have to duck. The 0-1. Bunt laid down by Kasser, picked up by the catcher, Pena, who fires over to Patton to retire the side. Kasser trying to bunt for a hit, doesn't work out. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 man left for the Wareham Gatemen. To the 7th we go. There's no score still here on the Gatemen Baseball Network, and it looks like there's a new pitcher coming in. We'll get to that after the break. New pitcher for the Gatemen, it's Jordan Britton out of Oregon State, who deals a lefty, deals a strike on the outside corner. Swinging at that one, Nick Patton, who's already struck out twice today. 3 home runs, 16 runs batted in for Patton, the Delaware Blue Hen. And now he's down 0-2. Jordan Britton, coming in from Oregon State, has 2 outings this year. His last outing was kind of messy. He came back against the Chatham Anglers on July 10th. He came in relief for Griffin Roberts. He did not pitch too well against this Anglers team. Strikes out Nick Patton, though. How about that? Comes in here, delivers 3 pitches, all strikes. Nick Patton, see you later. Landon Kay up next. Look out. Bat goes flying from Landon Kay. Swings at that one. He did not make contact, nor did his bat, which was a projectile at the time. And it's 0-1. You don't see him in the picture because he's going to run over to get his bat right now. Jordan Britton wearing 26 in white. Coming into this outing, 1-1 with an 8.31 ERA for the Gatemen. Did not see much time for the Beavers this year because of that crowded pitching staff they had for Oregon State, the #1 team in the country. Popped up. McIver is under it, and he makes the play in foul territory for the second out. So Jordan Britton comes in, gets 2 quick outs. against this Chatham lineup, which kind of whacked him around last time he pitched. Antonio Rollat up to the plate. He has been as close to scoring as anyone has been today. He reached third back in the third inning after a single. He's 1 for 2. Rollat's been a consistency at the bottom of this Chatham order, hitting .260 this year, 11 for 42, 4 runs batted in for Rollat. 2-0 from Britton. Here's the pitch. Check swing. They go down to the first base umpire. They say he does not go, says Jeff January at first base. Sam Finn's been making the calls behind home plate today, and Alan Libardoni is on the left side of the infield. 3-0. Low, and a 4-pitch walk delivered to Antonio Rollat with 2 outs in the 7th by Jordan Britton. Well, no one was walked by Noah Zavalis in his 6 innings. That's the first walk for the Gatemen pitching staff. And the last time a Gatemen starter gave up a run was, wow, I'm going back in my scorebook. Last time a Gatemen starter gave up a run was on July 12th, 8 days ago, against the Bourne Braves. Joey Matulovic gives up 1 earned run against Bourne at Doran Park en route to a 4-3 walk-off loss for the Gatemen. 0-1. Low to the 9-hitter Mason Coppins. Incredible stuff from the starters. Griffin Roberts, Joey Matulovic, Miller Hogan when he was here, Mason Fioli yesterday, and now Noah Zavalis scoreless from the starting role. Outside, except this one, the only difference is this one not a given. So Zavalis will not leave here with a win because his team was unable to provide him any run support. But Jordan Britton coming in here trying to do what Zavalis did against this Chatham order. Runner goes, and it's lined over the head of the second baseman, Duran, on the hit and run. They have a play at third. Here's the throw, not in time, and they go back to first, not in time. A base hit for Mason Coppins on the hit and run, and now Chatham with first and third and 2 outs here in the 7th. So 2-out magic trying to be worked here by the Anglers. A good, well-executed hit and run by Coppins. Now Rollat's just 90 feet away. He's been 90 feet away twice today. First time he did not score. And they have the leadoff guy, Jake Palomaki, at the plate. He is 0 for 3 with 3 groundouts. One was on a bunt attempt back in the 3rd. Takes a strike. 0-1 from Britton. Palomaki is 19 for 91 this season. 8 runs batted in, only 4 extra base hits. The runner goes to second. They fake the throw. So Coppins takes second on defensive indifference. They did not want to risk having the speedy Antonio Rollat make the break for home. Here comes the 1-1. Opposite field, going to be a tough play for Pompey. On the run, it's just foul. 2 runs were scoring on that play, but it just lands foul on the right field line, kind of in the Bermuda Triangle area between the first baseman of McIver and the right fielder, Tristan Pompey, but the Gatemen get away with it. Now Palomaki has a 1-2 count. Britton 1 strike away from working out of this jam. Second and third, 2 outs. The runner on second, Mason Coppins. The runner on third is Antonio Rollat. At the plate, Jake Palomaki from Boston College. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Chases the high heat to get out of the inning for Jordan Britton. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. 2 men left in scoring position for the Chatham Anglers. It's time for the 7th inning stretch here on WCTV. The team with more errors in the last 6 games the Gatemen have played in has ended up losing the game. I mean, defense has been an indicator of who's going to come away with the victory. And right now, both teams staying off the error slot, and we're still in a scoreless game. It just seems like defense wins these games here on the Cape Cod League. The batter is William McIver. He took a pitch inside 1-0. Rodney Hutchison still on the mound, fouled away by McIver 1-1. Chopped foul by McIver. It's 1-2 from Hutchison. McIver's 0 for 2, hitting 34 for 109 so far this year. The pitch comes inside. McIver able to avoid it, but the count will run to 2-2 on William McIver from Washington. Playing first base today. You'll see him at the third base position and at catcher. Maybe a DH here and there. But he's been a very consistent hitter. He'll be heading to the All-Star game on Saturday. 15 runs batted in for McIver, leads the Wareham Gatemen. He's also the CCBL leader in stolen bases. Chopped foul on the first base line by McIver opposite field, 2-2. He's a really good opposite field hitter. We'll head over to Matt Weasel there.
Well, really quickly, I mentioned earlier that Zach Hess was having issues in that Bourne-Cotuit game. Well, now Cotuit having issues, down 4-3 after a 4-run bottom of the 5th, headlined by the first batter, Lyle Lynn, with a 2 RBI single.
Chopped up the middle, the busy Antonio Relat on the run makes a nice athletic play to beat William McIver. 1 away, Relat. Wow, I mean, he hasn't been like anything standout defensively, but with all the balls that have been hit to him, it's pretty impressive that he has been able to make all of these plays so easily. I'm telling you, defense, such an important part here on the Cape Cod League.
And one last note about that game is if this result stands as it is, which is 0-0, and let's say it ends in a tie, Falmouth currently up 1-0, Bourne leading. Bourne would take first place in the division, and then second place would be a tie between Falmouth and Cotuit, with Wareham back going to 4th place.
1-0, fouled away. It's just that close. It's pretty crazy. I mean, how dead even these 4 teams have been all season. Wareham kind of sneaking back up recently, but Falmouth, Cotuit, and Bourne have been locked up for the past 10 to 15 games.
As you would put it, the Wild Wild West.
It is wild. Not even close to anything other than wild. Fouled away by Pompey. It's 1-2. The Kentucky Wildcat been hitting well recently.
And again, you see it's getting a little dark here. Well, that Brewster game where they were up 6-1, gave up 5 runs in the top of the In the top of the 5th, well, that's your final, 8-6. Orleans, the league leader for a reason, able to come back from a tough starting pitching to then come back and win the game at Brewster in 7 innings.
2-2 to Tristan Pompey from Hutchison Jr. Outside corner called, strike 3. Pompey down looking. Having a word with the home plate umpire, Sam Finn. But he heads back to the dugout. He's 0 for 2 today with 2 strikeouts. John Topa steps in. Tried to bunt for a hit his last time up. Did not work well for the Yukon Husky. 2 outs in the 7th. The pitch from Hutchison Jr. is blooped into shallow right field on the run. Can't make the play is the center fielder Mason Coppins. So Topa with a 2-out single. Trying to get something going for the Gatemen. Bottom of the order due up. Jaron Duran, the 7-hitter, is now at the plate. Duran of Long Beach State, 2 outs in the 7th. He is 1 for 2 today with a single back in the 2nd inning. No one has come around to score for either team, however. Here's the pitch. In there for a strike to Duran, 0-1. Duran with 4 hits in his last 3 games. And has hits in 6 of his last 7. So he's been playing pretty well recently. Here's the 0-1 outside, 1-1. And now with a hit today, of course, 7 of his last 8 games for Jaron Duran. Really good defensive second baseman for the Gatemen all season. See him repping that Long Beach State helmet right now. Here's the 1-1 from Hutchison Jr. now in the stretch. Fouled away opposite field by Duran. 308 batting average this year for Duran. And Long Beach State, a phenomenal story this year. On the brink of elimination in the regionals, but were able to beat Texas twice, which is what they had to do to get out of the regionals to play a rival Cal State Fullerton in the Super Regionals. But Texas unable to finish the job on Long Beach State. And the Beach, the Dirtbags, prevailed. 1-2 coming up. Stays alive, slapping that one foul towards the bleacher on the third base side. John Topa's on first. Now with 2 outs. Last inning we saw Ben Baird steal a base with no outs. Got caught. Now with 2 outs, I mean, might be a better idea than it was last inning for John Topa to try to steal a base. Not calling out the base runners or anything, but the situational base stealing for the Gatemen has been questionable today, and they've been so good all year, leading the league in stolen bases. Fouled away again by Duran. Topa remains at first. 1-2 still to count. But the Gatemen could really use John Topa 90 feet closer to home at second base right now. We'll see what he's thinking and what first base coach Sean Callahan's thinking for this at-bat. Duran, a lefty hitter. Also a very much an opposite field hitter. You've been seeing that on those foul balls, slapping the ball the other way. It's the kind of hitter Jaron Duran is. Also a speedster. Here's the pitch. Swings and misses. No, he fouls it away. Staying alive in the count, Jaron Duran just barely getting a piece of that fastball from Rodney Hutchison Jr., who's done a nice job coming in relief for Justin Lasko, who went 4 scoreless. Now Hutchison Jr. scoreless through his first 2 2/3. But he's got more work to do with a runner on first and 2 out in the 7th. His team has not scored. Chatham still at 0, Wareham at 0. Knotted up. Pitcher's duel in the making. The 1-2. Chopper Tough play coming up for Relat, but he's right on the bag. Trips Topa, not able to make the play. A crazy play at second base as Relat was basically already at second when he makes the play. Stretches his legs out, and as he does that, he trips John Topa, who is now gray all over his body because of that stone dust infield. But a base hit for Duran nonetheless, first and second with nobody, or 2 out, excuse me, here in the 7th. Jake Anchia, the 8-hitter, is 0 for 2. Trying to break this tie, now a runner in scoring position. It's John Topa. And here comes Chatham's pitching coach out to the mound to talk to Hutchison. There is nothing going on in the bullpen right now for the Anglers, just a conversation on the mound right now. The squad at the mound dissembles. And Jake Anchia ready to face Rodney Hutchison Jr. for the 2nd time today. He popped out off of him in the 5th inning. Anchia leading this Gatemen team with 3 home runs. Now has 20 on this 2017 season if you combine Nova Southeastern of D2 and the Cape Cod Baseball League. He's hit 20 bombs over the fence. He'll be participating in the home run derby. In there for a strike, they fake a snap throw over to first, but nothing doing from the catcher, Fabian Pena. 0-1 on Anchia, who has 10 runs batted in this season. Chatham head coach John Schiffner is a legend here on the Cape. This is his last visit to Spillane Field. We'll get to more on that in the 8th inning. Here's the 0-1. Popped up by Anchia, fair territory. It's the second baseman McGee who makes the grab to retire the side. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 men left for the Wareham Gatemen. Let's go to the 8th inning. No score, a pitcher's duel between Chatham and Wareham here on WCTV. Is that fried dough? That's fried dough, I see, here at Spillane Field. A lot of good snack options for the fans to enjoy. Jordan Britton back out on the mound. And yes, there is fried dough in the WCTV booth right now. That's some good stuff. 1-0. The batter is the two-hitter Ashton McGee, who's 0 for 3 with a strikeout, 2 groundouts today. Counts 1-1 from Britton. Here's the pitch. Fouled away. Over towards the middle school. 1-2 from Britton. The 1-2 inside. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Whoa, way up there. That one's so high that MacGyver on a jump could not even reach it. Britton getting a little bit wild there. 2-2. Excuse me, 3-2. Full count. McGee with 46 runs batted in this year for the North Carolina Tar Heels. Here's the 3-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 from Jordan Britton, recovering after that crazy pitch on ball 3. That is his third strikeout here in his second inning of work. Zavala struck out 8 himself. That's 11 for the Gatemen. They had 15 yesterday. 26 strikeouts for the Gatemen in the last 16 and a third innings pitched. Impressive stuff from this pitching staff still, but they need some run support against Chatham today. Shea Langoliers, the 1-0. Line right back up the middle for a base hit. Langoliers 3 for 4. He's been the one bright spot for Chatham's lineup today. Just doing what he does best, just getting on base no matter how it's done. He's able to do it. The Baylor Bear now on first base, 1 out in the 8th. John Schiffner, the winningest manager in CCBL history, is stepping down after this season. And boy, would the Anglers love to go out on top with him at the helm. He has been the mentor for many Anglers and Chatham A's who have made it to the MLB in the past. He's basically a legend here on the Cape. Pitches low, 2-0. The batter is John Aiello, who's struck out 3 times today, all 3 times against Noah Zavalis. He's relieved that there's a new pitcher on the mound. In the favorable lefty versus righty matchup here for Aiello. In there for a strike, 2-1. Six division titles, 2 league championships, 15 playoff appearances, 26 first-round draft picks under the management of John Schiffner. Pickoff attempt for Britton. Not much effort put into that throw over to William MacGyver, and the count remains 2-1. Aiello just trying to get some contact in. Not been seeing the ball well at all today. He's a .328 hitter at college. Swings and misses, 2-2. He's really gotten into his own head. Not liking the way he's swinging the bat right now. He's already struck out 3 times now. Swings and misses at that one. Did strike out a lot this year at Wake Forest. 63 games, 76 strikeouts for Aiello. The 2-2 upstairs, full count. Big batter here for Britton. Does not want to put a runner in scoring position with 1 out here in the 8th. Each inning getting much more tense as this game goes on. No score still between these two interdivision rivals. The 2 Hams of the Cape Cod League. Shot out to deep right. Pompey on the track makes the play and keeps Shea Langoliers at first base, 2 down. Fabian Pena will take a hack at Jordan Britton, who's been pretty good since coming in here. Has given up 2 hits since entering, but has not yet given up the lead run. Pena hit .330 for Manhattan College this season. Pops it up. First pitch swinging. Jaron Duran in shallow center. Makes the play to retire the side. Jordan Britton gives up a hit, but does not give up the lead run. No errors. No one man left on base to the bottom half of the 8th. You're watching Wareham Gatemen baseball here on WCTV. There's no score. It's a thriller. No one's broken the ice yet here in Wareham. No score between the Anglers and the Gatemen. Ben Baird to lead off here in the 8th. He's led off the 3rd and the 6th. He's 1 for 2. The Gatemen with just 4 hits thus far. Fouled away. And counts 0-1. Rodney Hutchison Jr. has really been a tank out of the bullpen. This is inning number 4 for him, just as the Anglers pitching staff would have drawn up. Lined right to the second baseman, McGee. Good contact from Baird, but unable to find the right hole. Unlucky there, 1 out in the 8th. Stephen Kwan is 0 for 3. Here he comes. The Gatemen winners of the last 4 games. Their last loss came against the Harwich Mariners on Friday, July 14th. A 4-3 loss there. Outside corner on a pitch shown bunt by Stephen Kwan, but pulled it back. It's 0-1. And this Chatham Anglers team, as you mentioned earlier in the broadcast, is the only team in the Cape Cod Baseball League that the Gatemen have not beaten. Here's the 0-1. Lined right to the shortstop. Tough hop, but Relat fields it over to first in time. 2 outs in the 8th. Quick work for Rodney Hutchison Jr., who has been shutting down this Gateman lineup. The Gatemen head to YD tomorrow to take on the Red Sox before coming back here for the All-Star game on Saturday and the home run hitting contest, of course. Join us at Spillane Field for that one. 2 outs. TV broadcast for that will be on Fox College Sports Radio on one of the local NPR stations here in Cape Cod. But Spillane Field is hosting this Cape Cod League All-Star game. Lots of great players from around the league. Thousands in attendance. This bleacher out here in left field should be full. 0-1. Chopped foul. 0-2. Tanner Dodson is 0 for 2 with a hit by pitch today. Chatham, winners of 4 of their last 5 games after losing to Falmouth yesterday. They had won 4 in a row prior to that game, with the wins over Bourne, Harwich, Bourne, and Brewster. 2 of those at Veterans Field, 2 of them on the road at Doran Park in Bourne and at White House Field in Harwich. Fouled away. 0-2 still to Dodson. Dodson looking for his 31st hit of the season. He leads second on this Gatemen team in hits behind William McIver, but in way less at-bats than McIver. McIver with 107 opportunities, 34 hits. Dodson, 79 opportunities, 30 hits. Leg kick and delivery from Hutchison, and it's a ball. 1-2. It does seem like Hutchison likes to change his delivery up a little bit each time. Maybe throw the batter off, and that can be an advantage for a pitcher. Last time the Gatemen and Anglers played, it was a 1-2 UNC punch that got the Gatemen to go down with just 2 runs. 1-2 was low, 2-2. It was Hutchison Jr. that came in relief in that game. Threw really well after Austin Bergner shut down the Gatemen lineup in the first 5 or 6 innings. Only gave up 2 earned runs. A lot of small ball for the Gatemen. Here's the pitch. Lined up the middle, grounded up the middle, for a base hit. Another 2-out hit from Tanner Dodson, his first hit of the day. He's 1 for 3. Kyle Kasser trying to knock him home to give the Gatemen the lead, but there are 2 outs here in the 8th.
Third baseman, number 13, Kyle Kasser from Oregon.
Kyle Kasser's at the plate. He has 5 hits in his last 6 games. R.J. Freuer in the bullpen. This one's lined to the third baseman. On to first to retire the side. Kyle Kasser grounds out. He's 0 for 4. And the Gatemen go down here in the 8th. Well, we're going to the 9th, and it's still scoreless here on WCTV. What's going to happen? Brett Canine on the hill for the Gatemen in the top half of the ninth. The third pitcher to enter this game for Wareham. Jordan Britton does a nice job going 2 innings of relief work after Noah Zavalis gets the first 6 scoreless. Britton 2 innings pitched, 3 strikeouts, 1 walk, 2 hits allowed, no earned runs. Good work from Britton after he kind of got shelled by this same Chatham lineup just a few weeks ago. Brett Canine, the closer of this Gatemen squad, not in a safe situation because there is no score. Here's the first pitch, flown out to center field. On the run, Stephen Kwan leaps and makes the play. A jumping grab from Stephen Kwan in deep center field, covering a lot of ground. That ball was on the fly. And Nick Patton, the first time he makes contact today, but unable to find a hole, flies out. 1 out in the ninth. Josh Stowers, a pinch hitter for the Chatham Anglers for Landon Kay. Kay goes 0 for 3. Stowers, from Louisville, one of the best hitters in this lineup. Out of Louisville, a team that was really good this year. Made the semifinals of the College World Series. Outside corner for a strike to Stowers. It's 0-1. Stowers with a .313 average this year at Louisville. High-profile prospect out of high school. Takes a ball inside. Chose Louisville. He's a Mount Carmel, Illinois native, which is southern Illinois. Chose Louisville over Michigan, Miami, Texas A&M. Some high-profile schools recruiting this guy. Here he is in the Cape League with the Chatham Anglers. Takes a pitch inside. 2-1 from Canine. 1 out in the ninth. But Chatham trying to jumpstart their lineup with something from Stowers here. Strike there to Stowers, 2-2. Reminder to follow the Wareham Gatemen on Twitter, at Wareham Gatemen, on YouTube, SoundCloud. Pitch outside, 3-2. SoundCloud for highlights on the road, YouTube for highlights at home, post-game, pre-game shows on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Also follow us on Facebook. There's sometimes some stuff going on Facebook, right?
You know, Brett Canine, you mentioned the YouTube, which just did a little Would You Rather.
3-2. Swing and a miss. Stowers down swinging. Canine gets the job done on him. 2 down in the ninth.
Canine, did that Would You Rather. Matt Feld, our beat writer, was moderating between him and Grant Wolfram. And let me tell you something. Brett Canine looks really intimidating right now. You want to see him not be as intimidating, go watch that video. He was taken aback by a couple of the questions, and we broke him down a little bit, broke down the shell.
Well, these other scores are pretty important in the East Division, or the West Division right now. Taking a strike is Antonio Relat, 0-1. Bourne's beating Catuit right now 5-3. They can hold on to that game. Catuit, a big loss for them, and the Gatemen would really like to win this game in that situation. The pitch is low. It's 1-1 on Relat.
In that situation you described, Bourne would take first place, and if the Gatemen were able to win tonight, they would take sole possession of second place in the division, ahead of Catuit, and technically ahead of Falmouth, whether or not Falmouth would win because of run differential.
Bourne getting some insurance. It was a 4-3 game, but then Jeremy Ayerman, the Missouri State Bear, recent arrival to the Bourne Braves, hits a solo shot, makes it 5-3. That pitch low. Count 3-1. There has not been a 3-ball count out of this Gateman pitching staff in a while. Jordan Britton gave up 1, but Zavalis, for the most part, no 3-ball counts for him, no walks. 3-1 going to come into Relat. Inside corner, Relat was already on his way to first base, but steps back in the box for a full count coming up.
And quickly, I just mentioned Falmouth. Well, they look like they're going to get the win. They're up 2-0 right now over Harwich in the bottom of the 7th. And if Falmouth were to win And anything besides a Gatemen win would mean Falmouth would overtake them in the standings, and if the Gatemen were to lose, Falmouth wins, the Gatemen would be in sole possession of that last playoff spot in 4th place in the West.
Home field advantage so important, of course. Outside corner called strike 3. A breaking ball gets Antonio Relat. Brett Canine comes in and does the job. 1-2-3 inning for him. To the bottom half of the 9th we go. The Gatemen with a chance to walk off in a scoreless game here on the Gatemen WCTV. This is the 3rd time William McIver's led off an inning today. He's 0 for 3. Trying to break this tie in the bottom half of the 9th. One swing of the bat from one of these guys could end this game. McIver has 15 RBIs this season, and he's facing a new pitcher for the Chatham Anglers. I almost called them the A's for a second. They used to be the A's. R.J. Froyer from Pittsburgh in the game. The Burlington, Ontario native, which is a suburb of Toronto, throws a strike to McIver, 0-1. Low 90s fastball for Froyer. Also has a cutter in the low 80s. And a breaking ball. It runs 11 o'clock to 5 o'clock on the clock. 0-1 to the Washington Husky. Breaking ball inside, 1-1. Froyer 4-1 with a .250 opposing batting average this year at Pittsburgh. Less than a hit per inning allowed. 46 strikeouts to 20 walks. The 1-1 swing and a miss. Big hack from McIver. Unable to gather anything there. 1-2 from Froyer. Former Team Canada U18 member, which finished in 6th place in 2015, was Froyer. One of the best prospects out of his country. 1-2, cut on and missed. A big breaking ball gets McIver to go down swinging on 4 pitches, excuse me. 1 out in the 9th. Pompey to bat. Tristan Pompey at the plate. The Kentucky Wildcat faces Froyer, takes a strike. Canadian on Canadian right now. Don't see that often. 2 Canadians battling it out here on Cape Cod in the Baseball League. You'd think we'd be playing hockey right now. Swing and a miss by Pompey. That cutter runs inside. That was nasty from Froyer. 0-2. John Topa waits on deck. The 0-2 from Froyer. just low and outside to Pompey, 1-2. Good eye there on that breaking ball. Pompey was drafted by the Twins out of high school, but went to Kentucky. The 1-2, low, 2-2. First team All-SEC this year, Tristan Pompey. He's from Mississauga, Ontario, which is more to the west of Burlington and to Toronto. Here's the 2-2. Cut on and missed. Pompey swinging for the fences, but strikes out swinging, the second consecutive strikeout for R.J. Froyer coming into this game. And John Topa comes up with 2 outs in the ninth. There is no score in this game. This is batter where there have been, 53 outs in this game. No score from either team. Check swing. Did he go? The first base umpire, Jeff January, says no, he did not. Topa's up on the count, 1-0. But Froyer's cutter looks really good so far today. That thing could be tough against John Topa, moving away from the righty batter. Here's the pitch. And it drops in there for a strike, 1-1. Topa's 1 for 3. Tried to bunt for a hit back in the 5th, did not work out. Singled back in the 7th, advanced to second, but no further. Here's the 1-0. Fouled away by Topa, 1-2 now on John Topa. Two outs in the ninth, 1 strike away from heading to extra innings here on WCTV. A pitcher's duel of the ages here between the Anglers and the Wareham Gatemen. 1-2. Swing and a miss, striking out the side. R.J. Froyer. Let's go to extra innings here on WCTV. A big game between these two teams, interdivision rivalry. And the first team to score could be the first team to get the win. Welcome back. 10th inning, some extra bonus baseball. Extra, extra, extra. Here on WCTV, the Gatemen and the Anglers. No score in the 10th inning. Dalton Roach, the new pitcher for the Gatemen, Coming in relief of Noah Zabalis, Jordan Britton, and then Brett Canine, who pitched an inning. It went 1-2-3, and now the bottom of the order, Mason Coppins, the 9-hitter at the plate. Drives this one to deep left. Dodson on the run at the track, and is going to make the play about 5 feet from the wall. Tanner Dodson routinely out there in deep left. Here in the 10th inning, 1 away. Jake Palomaki steps in, the leadoff guy, the lefty. Takes a strike on the outside corner, 0-1. Palomaki, a Kennesaw, Georgia native, but chose to go all the way up to Boston for college. Goes to BC and Chestnut Hill, fouls away the 0-1 pitch, 0-2 to Palomaki, who's had a rough day. He's 0 for 4. Gatemen pitchers have retired the last 6 batters in this Chatham order. The last hit came from Shea Langoliers, who has 3 hits for the Anglers. Of the 7 that the Anglers have, Langoliers has 3 of them, and Palomaki just struck out swinging. 3 strikeouts in the last 4 batters for the Gatemen pitching staff. Ashton McGee is up with 2 quick outs here in the 10th. McGee takes a ball outside, 1-0. To the UNC Tar Heel, who's also 0 for 4. Strike called on the outside corner. One and one. Chopper foul down the third base side over the Chatham dugout and into the road, I guess you could call it, next to the bleacher out there on the third base side. It is a road. Cars drive on it occasionally. We're here at Spillane Field, home of the Wareham High School Vikings, for some Wareham Gatemen baseball here on WCTV. That pitch in the dirt, 2-2. Breaking ball really sunk down there from Dalton Roach. Roach out of Minnesota State. Mankato, Minnesota is the home of that school. Really good hockey program out there. However, Roach, the D2 pitcher of the year this year for Minnesota State. Here's the 2-2. Outside corner, called, strike 3. Dalton Roach comes in the 10th, does his job. 1-2-3 inning. To the bottom half of the 10th we go. No score between the Anglers and the Wareham Gatemen here on WCTV. The Wild Wild West. Welcome to the Wild Wild West, to the Chatham Anglers. I mean, a phenomenal game here, bottom half of the 10th. No one has scored. Jaron Duran at the plate. Maybe we can just switch Chatham and one of the other teams in the West to make for some wilder action, I guess.
I mean, move Hyannis. They're at the bottom of the division. Put Chatham in.
Relegate Hyannis to the East. The first pitch to Jaron Duran is outside, 1-0.
Is it much of a relegation? I mean, Orleans is the best team in the league right now, points-wise and wins-wise, you know.
YD up there as well. I believe YD's second best in the league.
Yeah, maybe Chatham will enjoy being in the Wild Wild West, where they don't have to play those top two teams a bunch.
1-0. RJ Freuer back in the game. Pitch outside, well framed by the catcher Fabian Pena, but not enough to fool home plate umpire Sam Finn. 2-0. Long night for these umpires here at Spillane Field. Outside, 3-0. Jaron Duran trying to do something here. I mean, he has 2 hits. He has 2 of the Gatemen's 5 hits today. That's a large percentage of the Gatemen's hits have come off the bat of this Long Beach State dirt bag in there for a strike with 3-1, taking all the way. We thank you for sticking with us here on WCTV. It's been a long night. Bottom half of the 10th inning. No score between the Anglers and the Wareham Gatemen. 3-1. Upstairs, Jaron Duran works the leadoff walk off of R.J. Freuer, who just struck out the side in the 9th inning. Jake Anchia is at the plate. Anchia looking for his first hit of the day. He's 0 for 3 with 2 pop-ups, fielder's choice. 4 extra base hits on the year for Anchia, and with a speedy runner at first in Duran, that's what he's looking for. Shows bunt, gets it down in front of the mound. Freuer makes the play over to first, just beats Anchia. Duran advances to second, runner in scoring position here in the 10th. Well executed by Jake Anchia on the bunt. And this crowd is getting excited here with a runner just 2 bags away from winning this game for the Wareham Gatemen in the 10th inning. Ben Baird not going to come to the plate. Robbie Metz instead. The experience coming in to pinch hit for the Gatemen shortstop. Base hit likely wins the game with the speed that number 10 has at second base. You see him in the corner of your screen right now. It's Jaron Duran. And here comes Fabian Pena to go talk to his pitcher. R.J. Freuer, the pitching coach for Chatham, out as well. There is some action in the Chatham bullpen right now. It's a lefty arm. It looks like Daniel Metzdorf is up for Chatham. That's Adam Wolf, number 44 for the Chatham Anglers. In the bullpen, he's a Louisville Cardinal. But right now, it's Freuer's game. Runner on second, 1 out, and he's still in the game to face Robbie Metz, the pinch hitter. The 9-hitter in this Gatemen lineup. First pitch from Freuer. Fouled away by Metz, hacking away. Gets it over the bleachers on the first base side. Metz out of George Washington University, a teammate of current Gateman Nate Fosnot, who recently returned from an injury back into this Gateman roster. Metz is hitting .280. 23 hits this season. 4 runs batted in. 0-1. Outside corner breaking ball. 0-2 to Metz. R.J. Freuer, an elite pitcher, coming into this game in a pretty intense time. No score, bottom half of the 10th. The 0-2 from Freuer to Metz. Up and in, 1-2. The last extra inning game here at Spillane Field. It was a long one. Metz pops it out, foul, out of play. It was a extra inning battle with the YD Red Sox. That game went 11 innings. The Red Sox took the 3-1 victory against the Gatemen. The Gatemen were 10-12-1 at the time after that game. Now they're sitting at 15-15-1. Here's the 1-2. Lined down the right field line. Fair ball. Jaron Duran comes around third and scores. Robbie Metz, an RBI to win the game for the Wareham Gatemen. A walk-off in the 10th inning. The second walk-off of the season, the first since the home opener against the Falmouth Commodores. And the Gatemen win a pitcher's duel 1-0 against the Chatham Anglers. Their first victory over Chatham this season. Wow, what a performance by the Gatemen today. The pitching staff in particular. Noah Zavalis, a remarkable start. And Robbie Metz gets the walk-off single. How about that? A pinch hit single for Robbie Metz to get the Gatemen the victory. Awesome stuff tonight here at Spillane Field. We thank you for joining this broadcast of Wareham Gatemen baseball here on WCTV. The Gatemen improved to 16-15-1 with a victory over the Chatham Anglers tonight. The next broadcast of Wareham Gatemen baseball on WCTV. Not for a while, not until next week when the Gatemen take on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on Tuesday, July 25th. But be sure to come out to Spillane Field on Saturday for the Cape Cod Baseball League All-Star Game here in Wareham. Final score, Gatemen 1, Chatham 0 in 10 innings. We thank you. For the rest of the WCTV crew, I am Sam Corman, checking out from Spillane Field.